Welcome to week 3 of the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce Legislative Update. I'm Kaylin George, Chief Communications, Development, and Policy Officer, and I'm joined here with Brian Dayton. He is the VP of Policy and Advocacy here at the Chamber, and we are going to go ahead and get started because it has been a different kind of week. You know, we've had ice, we've had snow.
Yep.
Can you tell us how that impacted things underneath the Golden Dome?
So we had a major snowstorm, ice storm, depending on where you were in West Virginia, move through this past weekend. A lot of people without power. I think we still have some in the Charleston area that are without power right now. So it really changed the dynamic. So what happened last week was that the legislature decided to delay Monday's opening session, and ultimately they canceled all committee meetings on Monday, and they just had a bare minimum of delegates and senators come in to open and close the floor sessions. And then Tuesday got a bit of a late start as legislators are still working their way in. You know, some parts of our state had nearly a foot of snow. Other parts of our state had tons of ice and power outages. So it was a wicked storm, and we're watching to see there may be some other storms that are on the horizon for the next couple weeks.
Yeah. After those first couple days, are we back on track? Was there a lot of activity over there?
Yeah, it's been a bit of an interesting week. We're somewhat back on track, but it's just, I think, different in that a lot of people had trouble getting to the Capitol. What we've been dealing with, we know every morning, frozen roads, extremely cold temperatures. Schools have been out. I know Kanawha County, where we are now, Putnam County, where I live, have been canceled all week, including Friday. So it's been just very little bit different due to this storm that moved through.
Yeah, and we'd be remiss if we didn't say thank you to all the crews
Yep.
and linemen and everyone who worked to restore power, clear the roads, get the internet back up and running. So thank you, we appreciate it. And we'll head on to our first bill. This is HB 4002. Now it is an education and research bill, but it also has to do with workforce and economic development and some of our top universities. Can you tell us about the bill, where it's at now, and why it's so important?
So House Bill 4002 passed the House of Delegates, but it is the Education Collaboratory. So it is going to be housed by Marshall University, but also very much involving several other universities, including West Virginia University, West Virginia State University. But it's going to give a different tool to legislators to really get some very good in-depth analysis, economic development projects, other types of projects, perhaps legislation they're looking at. So this has been something that's been discussed for quite a while, but a very, very important bill. Passed the House, is moved over to the Senate and in the Senate Education Committee. But again, one of that real kind of key pieces of the House's overall jobs agenda.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think that data will impact things moving forward? So let's say that this bill makes it through, this collaboration, is created. How is that data going to impact maybe future legislation on workforce and economic development?
So what the real hope is just to get better data, better understanding of what a project might mean, what's going to be the economic impact of a certain project, to give legislators a better viewpoint of, is this investment worth it? Should we be investing more in it? Comes down, I think, when they're going to be looking at policy, what will be the real impact of that policy change, negative, positive. And, that's been something I think we've always struggled with in West Virginia is to make sure that we have that very good analysis that's going to be done. And we're very optimistic that this bill can lead to the creation of that.
Yeah, and of course here at the Chamber, we are very into using data-driven decisions, making data-driven decisions, so it's something that we definitely like to see. Now we'll move along to HB 4008, which of course is another economic development bill. Something, again, we're happy to see here at the Chamber because we're for jobs, workforce, just the betterment of West Virginia overall. And I know that has a lot to do with site readiness, which has come synonymous with economic development these days. So can you break that bill down for us?
So at its core, that bill is really expanding the amount of micro grants that can be given for site readiness. Currently in law is capped at $75,000, and this bill would increase that cap to $100,000 for sites over 5 acres, but up to $250,000 for sites over 20 acres. So we think that's going to give more tools in the toolbox to making sure that you can get that building ready, get that site ready to house an economic development opportunity. What we do know from talking to local EDAs, from the state EDA, the economic development officials, companies looking to come here, they want to know, well, what buildings do you have available? Is there water? Is there sewer, railroad, roads, waterways? What is it that we need to ship our goods? So having those sites available and having those options available is absolutely critical because when they come here, a lot of times they're like, what do you have and where can we locate?
Absolutely. And of course, here at the Chamber, we are very much into growth and expansion. But can you tell us the official stance on where the Chamber stands on this bill and where it is now in the legislative process?
So it's a really good bill to help out with that site readiness, and it is now in the Senate Economic Development Committee. So it has cleared the House of Delegates and it's moved over for that committee as well. And we're hopeful it's taken up very soon.
Okay, so first hurdle down, another one yet to go. Another thing happening this weekend is candidate filing. Now we know the deadline is coming up this weekend. At the Chamber, of course, we have a robust candidate recruitment and retention program. We've been working on this for a while. Can you tell us a little bit about that process and a little bit about what goes on this weekend?
So Saturday night at midnight is the close of candidate filing in West Virginia. So if you want to run for office, you have to have filed for office by Saturday at midnight. We've been working for well over a year now, close to a year and a half, of identifying very strong candidates in districts across West Virginia to run for the legislature. People with business backgrounds who understand what businesses need to grow and thrive in the state. Now, it's both an attraction and a retention. We have a lot of very good legislators in there, and it's making sure that they feel the support so that they're encouraged to come back and continue working to move West Virginia forward. So we've been working with these candidates for many of them close to a year and a half now. They are filing for office. We're excited. And so just a reminder that for anybody in the state, anybody at all, if you want to run for office, you have to have filed by midnight on Saturday. And so we're watching those filings every day to see who's coming in and who's signing up to run.
Yeah, thank you. And I do want to mention that, of course, the races are around the corner, but we have updated our voter information and education pages on our website, wvchamber.com. We also have our position papers and where the Chamber stands on the most pressing issues facing West Virginia. Thanks again for tuning in. This video will be on wvchamber.com. It's also on our YouTube page where you can rewatch any of our video breakdowns, and we'll see you next week.